Thousands of carry-on items are seized at TSA checkpoints every single day. None of them are coming back. Most travelers who lost them had no idea those items would even be flagged. Heading into 2026, TSA is quietly cracking down on 7 categories of everyday items, and the biggest surprises are not what you would expect. Powders over 12 ounces, dense foods you packed for the flight, electronics handled wrong in the wrong lane. The rules did not all change, but what is actually being enforced did. And that gap between what travelers assume and what is happening at the checkpoint is where the problems begin. The 3-1-1 liquids rule is the first checkpoint where even seasoned travelers get tripped up. Every liquid, gel, or aerosol in your carry-on has to be in a container no larger than 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters. It does not matter if there is only a splash left in a giant bottle. If the container itself is too big, it will be snagged. All those containers must fit inside one clear, quart-sized plastic bag. That is 1 bag per person, and the zipper has to close. Oversized sunscreen, shampoo, or even a half-empty water bottle, all of it is out. The confusion ramps up when people mix up ounces and milliliters or think that a 120 milliliter travel bottle is fine because it looks small. It is not. TSA officers are checking the container's printed size, not your best guess. Aerosols are another blind spot. Hairspray, spray deodorant, and shaving cream all count as liquids. If you are packing an aerosol, check the label. Tiny travel cans are fine, but regular size cans will be tossed. Spreadable foods like peanut butter and hummus, if over 3.4 ounces, get treated as GLs and flagged just the same. The same goes for items like yogurt, jam, or even soft cheese. Powders are the new surprise. Anything over 12 ounces or 350 milliliters must come out of your bag for separate screening. TSA is not banning powders, but if you forget to remove them, your bag is almost guaranteed to get pulled for a manual check. That means swab tests, questions, and delays. The fastest fix is simple. Measure every container, stick to the 3.4 ounce rule for liquids and gels, and use a single clear quart-sized bag. If you are carrying more than 12 ounces of powder, consider checking it. These small steps cut down on surprises and keep your trip moving. Dense and spreadable foods catch travelers off guard, even after clearing the liquids and powders hurdle. TSA treats anything you can smear, scoop, or squeeze, think peanut butter, hummus, cream cheese, or even a big tub of yogurt, as a GL. If it is over 3.4 ounces, it is flagged, no matter how airtight or homemade the packaging. Popular souvenirs like maple syrup, honey, and jam jars are seized daily, especially in containers that look gift-sized but break the limit. The quickest workaround is to stick to single-serve packets, buy snacks after security, or pack only solid foods like crackers, hard cheese, or whole fruit. Anything questionable is safer in checked luggage. Electronics rules are now a guessing game. At major airports equipped with CT scanners, Atlanta, LAX, JFK, and more, laptops, tablets, and e-readers usually stay in your bag. But at smaller airports or older lanes, you are still expected to pull out every device larger than a phone. Ignore the posted signs and you risk a manual search which slows down the entire line. Portable chargers and power banks bring their own trap. They are allowed only in carry-ons, never in checked bags, and must be under 100 watt-hours. If the battery label is missing or unreadable, officers can confiscate it on the spot. Always check your power bank label before packing and keep the specs handy. Shoes and jackets remain a wild card. In pre-check or CT scanner lanes, you might breeze through fully dressed. But regular lanes at many airports still require shoes off, belts off, light jackets off. One missed step and you are holding up the conveyor. For the fastest trip through security, pack only solid snacks. Keep electronics and chargers accessible, check your battery labels, and wear slip-on shoes. These micro adjustments are the difference between a smooth screening and a surprise bag search. When an alarm sounds at the checkpoint, the clock starts ticking in a way most travelers never expect. The first step is almost always a remote image review. TSA officers in a back room rotate a three-dimensional scan of your bag, zooming in on anything dense, unmarked, or oddly shaped. If they cannot clear it from the screen, your bin is pulled from the conveyor for a manual search. The officer will ask if there is anything sharp or hazardous before unzipping your bag right in front of you. They are looking for the flagged item, maybe a protein powder tub over the 12-ounce limit, a spreadable food, or an unlabeled battery. If the item is not immediately obvious, you are referred to secondary screening. This can mean a pat-down, opening sealed containers, or running your belongings through explosive trace detection with a fresh swab. Each step adds minutes. The average secondary search takes between 8 and 20 minutes, but if the line is long or a supervisor is needed, missing a short-haul boarding window becomes a real risk. Travelers often panic or freeze up here, but a few clear words can help. If you know you have a medical liquid, a large powder, or anything that might trigger scrutiny, say, "I have a medically necessary item in this bag," or say that the protein powder is above the 12-ounce limit. The more specific you are, the faster officers can clear or test the item and move you along. Refusing a search or arguing at this point only slows things down and can lead to escalation. If you are worried about privacy, you can request a supervisor or ask for a private screening room. Most travelers think secondary screening is rare, but with new CT scanners flagging more items than ever, these steps are now part of the routine. Knowing the exact sequence from remote review to hands-on search to possible pat-down makes the process less intimidating and gives you a fighting chance to keep your trip on track. Once an item is confiscated at a TSA checkpoint, it is not just set aside for later pickup. It is gone for good. Officers collect and tag seized property, logging it into an internal system before transferring it to secure bins behind the checkpoint. Liquids over 3.4 ounces, oversized power banks, vapes, and powders above 12 ounces are among the most common losses, with electronics and sharp objects making up a growing share as CT scanners catch what used to slip by. Each year, the TSA seizes millions of items, over 7,000 per day, nationwide. The sheer scale is staggering. Everything from snow globes to high-end electronics ends up in these bins. There is no warehouse full of lost gadgets waiting for owners. Anything confiscated becomes federal property on the spot. Liquids are dumped. Electronics and batteries, especially lithium-ion, are handled as hazardous waste and sent for special disposal. Sharp items and other contraband are destroyed or recycled. There is no appeals process and no realistic path to getting your property back. If you want a fighting chance at any recourse later, for example for a valuable item or a medical device, document everything immediately. Ask the officer for their badge number or an incident reference. Snap clear photos of the item and the confiscation process if possible, and get names of any witnesses nearby. Without this paper trail, even a formal complaint is a dead end. The system is designed for speed and finality, not second chances. TSA officers have more leeway at the checkpoint than most travelers realize. The official screening rules spell out what is allowed and what is not. But the final call often comes down to officer discretion. That means two travelers with the same protein powder or the same external battery can get completely different outcomes. One passes through, the other gets flagged. Why? Sometimes it is the scanner itself. New CT lanes can reveal details that older X-ray machines miss, and that leads to more questions about dense or ambiguous items. Other times, it is a judgment call. If an image looks murky, or if a package is unmarked or oddly shaped, the officer has the authority to pull it for extra screening. Even the lane you choose can matter. Pre-check and CT-equipped lanes often run smoother, but they do not override officer authority. Pre-check lets you keep your shoes on and usually your laptop in your bag, but it does not guarantee you will avoid extra inspection. If something in your bag triggers an alarm or looks suspicious, you can still be pulled aside, no matter your status. When you believe your item was treated differently than someone else's, documentation is your best ally. Record the time, lane number, officer badge if visible, and any witnesses nearby. If you need to question an officer, keep it calm and specific. Useful phrases include, "Can you clarify which policy applies here?" and "May I speak with a supervisor about this decision?" Staying factual and polite avoids escalation and keeps the process transparent. This paper trail is essential if you want to contest a confiscation later. The rules give officers discretion, but they also give you the right to ask for clarity and to document what happens. Medical devices and wrapped gifts are where TSA screenings get personal fast. For anyone traveling with insulin, syringes, a CPAP machine, or a heart pacemaker, the rules allow these items through security, but only if you handle the process the right way. In 2025 and 2026, the best move is to bring clear documentation, an original prescription label, a doctor's note, or a pharmacy receipt. These are not strictly required by law, but TSA officers are far less likely to question or swab your medications if you present proof up front. Place medical items in a separate pouch and, as you reach the conveyor, say, "I have medically necessary supplies and documentation here." For devices like a CPAP or an insulin pump, add, "This device cannot go through X-ray. I request a visual inspection." Officers are required to honor that request, and you are entitled to a private screening if you ask. Never let a device out of your sight, and if you feel rushed, calmly ask for a supervisor. Wrapped gifts cause a different kind of headache. TSA's official advice is blunt: do not wrap presents before flying. If a package sets off the scanner or looks dense or odd on the X-ray, officers will open it, no matter how carefully you wrapped it. This happens most often during the holidays, when flagged gifts spike by 20%. The process is rarely gentle. Paper is torn, boxes are unsealed, and privacy goes out the window. Once opened, the chain of custody is strict. The gift is inspected, then handed back, but the wrapping is usually ruined. To avoid this, pack gifts unwrapped with receipts tucked inside, or use a gift bag and tissue paper for easy inspection. A quick checklist can save you: no batteries, no liquids, no dense foods, and a clear receipt. That can prevent the awkward moment when a TSA officer rips open a family present in front of the entire line. When it comes to medical gear and wrapped items, the best defense is preparation, documentation, and a few words said with confidence. CT scanners are quietly rewriting the rules of airport security, but most travelers do not realize how much the technology changes what gets flagged and what stays hidden. Unlike the old two-dimensional X-ray machines, which flatten your bag into a single shadowy image, CT scanners build a full three-dimensional map. Officers can rotate, zoom, and slice through your suitcase virtually, spotting dense or layered items that used to slip by. This means ambiguous shapes, like a protein powder tub, a tightly packed electronics pouch, or a clump of snacks, stand out in ways the old X-rays could never reveal. The effect is immediate at the country's busiest airports. By 2026, hubs like Atlanta, Chicago, O'Hare, JFK, LAX, Miami, Boston, Phoenix, and San Francisco all run CT-equipped lanes at most checkpoints. Other airports have joined the list, including Las Vegas, Oakland, Philadelphia, Houston Hobby, Baltimore, Indianapolis, Cincinnati, and St. Louis. But not every lane is upgraded, and smaller airports still rely on legacy X-rays, so the rules can flip from one terminal to the next. With CT, you usually keep laptops, tablets, and even your 311 liquids bag inside your carry-on. The scanner's algorithms slice through layers, flagging only what looks odd or unidentifiable. But here is the surprise. Better detection means more targeted hand searches for anything that does not match the scanner's database: dense powders, unlabeled batteries, or unfamiliar packaging. That is why some travelers breeze through untouched, while others are pulled for extra checks on a bag that looks perfectly ordinary to the naked eye. Checking if your airport uses CT lanes is straightforward. The TSA's Emerging Technologies page lists participating airports, and most major hubs now post signs at the start of each lane. If you see a sign saying you can leave electronics and liquids in your bag, you are in a CT lane. If not, assume the old rules apply. Everything out, shoes off, and be ready for extra screening on powders, snacks, or electronics. The payoff is speed and less hassle in equipped lanes, but only if you follow the posted instructions. Ignore them, and you risk a manual search that wipes out any time you hope to save. In airports still running legacy X-rays, the process reverts, every device and liquid out, and every dense item a potential delay. The result? 2 travelers on the same day can have completely different experiences just by picking the wrong line or flying from the wrong airport. This confusion is not going away soon. Until every checkpoint is upgraded, knowing which lane you are in and what the technology expects is the only way to avoid a surprise search or last-minute confiscation. When a screening decision feels wrong or you believe you've been mistreated, the Transportation Security Administration's official complaint channels are your next move. The standard online complaint form at tsa.gov/contact is built for reporting confiscations, officer conduct, or delays that cost you a flight. This form asks for specifics: flight number, checkpoint lane, date and time, the item involved, and a clear description of what happened. Attaching photos, an officer badge number, and receipts for lost items strengthens your case. For travelers with disabilities or medical needs, TSA Cares offers a dedicated hotline and email to pre-arrange accommodations or report accessibility issues, with staff trained to handle mobility, sensory, and medical device concerns. If you need to escalate, the Department of Homeland Security's Traveler Redress Inquiry Program, DHS TRIP, acts as an ombudsman, especially for repeated issues or suspected rights violations. The most effective complaint records are compact and factual. Note the exact time, flight, checkpoint lane, officer badge if visible, item description, and snap a photo before surrendering anything. Witness names add weight. But here is the hard truth. At the checkpoint, refusing screening or confiscation is not a real option. Transportation Security Administration officers have federal authority to deny boarding or call law enforcement if you refuse to comply. Your leverage comes after the fact, through documentation and formal complaints. While property is almost never returned, a solid paper trail can get you answers, clarifications, and sometimes policy corrections for the next traveler. Before heading to the airport, 5 steps can save you from the most common TSA headaches in 2026. First, check every liquid, gel, and spread. If any container holds more than 3.4 ounces, it belongs in your checked bag or the trash, no exceptions. Second, group all powders together and measure them. Anything over 12 ounces needs to be easy to pull out for screening, or better yet, checked. Third, inspect your electronics. Laptops, tablets, and power banks should be fully charged, clearly labeled, and packed where you can reach them fast. Fourth, pack solid snacks only. Skip the peanut butter, yogurt, or jam unless it is a single-serve packet under the limit. Fifth, keep shoes simple and jackets light for quick removal if needed. The #1 mistake that stalls travelers is packing loose powders or dense spreads in a carry-on without declaring them. That single oversight triggers more delays and confiscations than any other error under the new enforcement. Right now, every new checkpoint rule is another test of what travelers actually know and what TSA expects you to miss. With CT scanners rolling out and rules shifting, confusion is not just inconvenient, it is costly. The real risk is not what you pack, but what you do not understand. Because in 2026, ignorance is not an excuse, it is a liability. Share your airport surprises below and let us keep each other informed.